on to you crabs out here. Hopefully y'all are having a great day. You have the Knight of Michael, the Epiphany, and then you also have the Ace of Gabriel. So these three cards right here for you represents how you you crabs are so there's a sense of you crabs essentially learning some things. Hold on. Okay. Okay. So a lot of you crabs are gaining a lot more experience, being able to understand who you can get along with and who you can't, right? We're not going to be able to get along with every single person that we interact with. Obviously, you have to know that. The Knight of Michael, the Epiphany, and the Ace of Gabriel speaks to that. It speaks to the nuance that not everything that you are going to do is gonna have an effect the way that you crabs think it does. You'll have people that unfortunately gonna think of the worst type of scenario in the situation, right? As a matter of fact, this is the reference chart that it is that I was talking about, the Kabbalah, like I was talking about, right? So the moon, which represents you crabs, you actually exist in the middle pillar, right? You exist in the middle pillar right here. And all of these represent a different planet in our solar system, right? Or in our galaxy, more accurately. And what's going on here is, well, except for this one, but even that too. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that the reason why it is that you crabs have things and it's difficult as far as relationship wise, and I've been talking to y'all about this, is because this dark pillar is actually supposed to be over here, and this light pillar is actually supposed to be over here, because the light pillar represents the right hand, meaning heaven. Okay, the dark pillar, okay, represents the left hand path that so many spiritualists are getting into. Now these two pillars are flipped. This just represents people's perception of how it is that they exist in the world. Their perception is flipped. They have a warped mentality. See, now I'm able to show you and tell you and explain and break down the knowledge to show you what it is that I'm talking about. So a lot of the times people have this mentality where no matter how good you crabs are doing, they still have an issue with you. Why? Because their mentality is warped. They over here with it when they should be over here, and this should be over here. So instead of them turning these two pillars around, I know I had to flip it upside down, but turning these two pillars around to where this is the correct place, this is the left hand, this is the right hand, right? They're looking at it from this perspective, where the better you crabs treat them is the worse they treat you, the more they need to have a problem with you. They're so worried about all of the wrong things. And see, the Seven of Raphael and the King of Michael speaks to how, well, this is not your problem, right? If you crabs have anybody in your life that is giving you an issue, or maybe not now, but you've gotten away from them, you need to understand that that's not your problem. That's their problem. They have a serious issue that they need to really go get help for, because why are they getting on you crabs in the first place and making you an issue? You crabs are doing what it is that you need to do. What I'm seeing here is you crabs are really not doing anything messed up. I'm just seeing how you crabs are doing the best that you can. You're being single. Hold on a second. Okay. You're doing the best that you can. You're being single. And most importantly, you're not going to try to be in a relationship, especially when you crabs know that you don't need to be in one. because you know that if you get yourself into a relationship, all it is that you crabs are going to ultimately do is end up being dysfunctional. Now, I'm not saying that you crabs are dysfunctional by default. I'm saying that you crabs just understand that it's gonna be dysfunctional, because yeah, you crabs will be working towards something, but more than likely the person whom you're in a relationship with ain't. And they're gonna look to get you crabs dragged down into some nonsense with them. So you crabs know not to be in a relationship with anybody until you see a person has a decent mentality. You know, I've been talking about it since day one, right? That, you know, there's a lot of nuance to a relationship. You see, there's a lot of nuance. And, you know, there's a saying that says that the dark ISIS will become the light ISIS, right? For anybody who is in the Egyptian mystery schools, you'll understand what it is I'm talking about. And basically what that means is that all of the things that are misunderstood, not understood, needs to actually be examined, understood, and learned. Because too many people getting caught up with the non-verbals and the nuance and the things that are not said. And that's what messes them up. Let's get deeper into that. The 3 of Raphael, the 9 of Raphael, and then the Knight of Raphael. This is my point. The fact that, like, here you crabs are, right? But their interaction with you is very shaky. And what I mean when I say shaky, I mean like it's very, like it's touch and go, right? Relationships with you as of right now is touch and go. A lot of people can't really do what it is that you crabs can do. They have not reached here and here. These two, they have not reached these three parts right here. Because as it is that, I'm so glad I have this. Because as it is that I said before, right? You go from severity, which is a lot of struggles, right? A lot of struggles in your life. And then you go from struggles, and then you go to some mercy, right? And then mercy represents when you get redeemed because you go through the strife and the struggles. Then what do? You got to go from mercy, right? And then you got to go through mercy through the abyss, like I was telling y'all about, into Bina or Bina, which is what? Understanding, lived the experience. But the abyss represents when all hope is lost. The abyss represents what? Knowledge. You don't have to hope because you know. There's a difference between believing and knowing. So what does this have to do with you? Meaning that you crabs have gotten, some of you crabs have gotten here. Most people on earth are down, are at mercy, severity, and down on earth. How do I know this to be true? Because the thing is that when you start talking about love, people don't want to go through this. Love is what the abyss is. That's how you end up here and here and here. Right? In order for you to become a divine, everybody talking about this divine stuff now. Oh, this divine, this divine. Now I'm looking for right. Well, you got to go through the abyss in order to get here. When you get to here, they call that the perfected. The perfected. On both sides. And then when the two of you join together, boom, you create the family. Boom. Kefir, the crown. And then there's levels beyond that. This is what it is I'll be talking to you crabs about when I say you're at last level, or You've come to the realization, this is what I'm able to show you. This is what it is. And it's literally the same thing, because the tarot is nothing but the Kabbalah, just in a card form. I'm just doing it in a chart now. But as a magician does. But this is the point is that I've been trying to tell y'all. Like, you crabs are at a point where you have crossed over the abyss now, to where now you are, or you're in it, to where you're understanding that, hey, you know, a lot of people are not through your lived experience, right? Bina, you understand, right? Bina, this is understanding. And then Chokma is wisdom, what you will have attained after you've learned the knowledge. After you've, learned the knowledge, right? After you went ahead and got, you know what I'm saying, whatever, the knowledge, blah, 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 blah. Understanding and wisdom, right? Knowledge, wisdom, and knowledge, understanding, and wisdom, right? You've gained all three of these things because you lived the experience. So now what am I saying? I'm saying you crabs lived that experience where you are out here dating and you experienced that. Like I said before, a lot of people touch and go. But what you crabs need to also know is the fact that the people whom it is that you're trying to get to know now, you can relax. You can enjoy yourself, because they're not the person whom you're supposed to be with. So you don't even have to interact with them on that romantic level, a lot of them. And you end up missing the person that is a good match for you, because the vast majority of them are not. You only gonna be with one person at a time, unless you have that kind of relationship. But more oftentimes than not, you're only gonna be in a relationship with one person at a time. And why that's so important? Come here, my baby. I love you. Sit down. Sit down. And why that's so important, even in the first place, is because of the fact that I love you. The reason why it is that that's not important is because you crabs have evolved past this on down. You lived the experience. You have the knowledge. You have the experience. You can actually speak to people about what it feels like to work your brains out, work until, you know what I'm saying, you bust in your butt, get to somewhere. And what is it that I say? Most people are not into being in a relationship. Why? Because, to show you yet again, most people have not gotten to here. They will not cross the abyss. Love is the abyss. It's something that they cannot physically always prove. They have to jump into it and understand that it's not meant to always be physically explained and understand. What you got a lot of people doing, crabs, my dear crabs, you got a lot of people trying to explain love. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. That's what you're trying to do? Not you, baby. You know I love you. You know I love you. So let's clarify the 10 of Ariel. It's only a few people who are on those levels that are able to actually be and exist in love, because they've experienced love and they're not running from it. Like I told you, love and pain are in the same vein. So what does this have to do with you? You crabs are just simply on a whole new level compared to other people. And the part of the problem that you crabs are having is most people are not on those levels. Most people are below the abyss. And these parts here are still considered, anything under this abyss here is considered animal. Yeah, so that's still, as if you pay attention to them, all they care about is some money and attention and getting the draws. But once you're not caught up with money and the intention and getting the draws, and you interested in understanding the character of a person, the integrity, what happens next? Now everybody, they short circuit. They don't know, like a machine. They short circuit. They don't know what you're talking about. Let's clarify the 10 of Ariel. Strength, Queen of Swords, High Priestess, Nine of Cups, and then you have the Page of Swords. So to clarify the 10 of Ariel, right? So the Strength, the Queen of Swords, and the High Priestess right here represents how, to clarify the 10 of Ariel, represents how. So the best thing for you, crabs, to do is for you to understand that you're just above the vast majority of the people that you'll meet. But where it's at, so to speak, is for you to know that and keep that in mind, but you not like lord it over other people or mistreat other people. Just accept it. Just get to know other people, but just accept it. But understand, but this is what it is that I've been talking about so much, but just be careful and understand what you want. See, when you understand what you want spiritually, you get, and physically and everything else, you get shielded from the dysfunctions that accompany this stuff because you're not running wild. You have a particular purpose. And see, the Queen of Swords and the High Priestess represents how, so a lot of people are going to like you, but they're not going to be able to be around you like that. But that's good because you're not looking for everybody to be around you. You crabs are looking for one particular person to be around you anyway. So it is what it is. It works out for you anyway. The Nine of Cups and then the Page of Swords, right, speaks to how all this is doing is just making you crabs more focused. All it's doing is also raising your value as well, because you crabs know what's going on. You know that the majority of people they're still on that animal level. Even no matter how high they think they are, they haven't gotten to that point yet. They haven't crossed the abyss. They're still trying to, well, I'm scared to be in love and I don't trust you. Going through that is how you get to those upper parts and beyond, because there's levels beyond that. There's levels beyond the top one in the middle, levels beyond top one. Most people haven't even gotten to the top 3. They're still below, or the top 4. They're still below. So that's pretty much it. They're not, because of the fact that people are unwilling to actually try their hand in love, which is what they need to do, they'll never be able to get to your level, crabs. And so it's time. It's very good for you to know what you want. This is why you're going through a lot of these issues. But keep that in mind. It's not that you're trash. It's that you're too good. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the video. That's it.